Hey guys, welcome back to another video for LudyBros Entertainment. Little bro Logan Ludy right here. I got my big bro rocking with me. How you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm excited to talk about this next episode for The Last Dance.
Okay, shoot, me too. Let's talk about it.
All right, so in this one, we got the beginning part. We got Phil Jackson's upbringings from, being a kid in Montana, coming up, going up to college basketball, becoming an NBA player, joining the Knicks, winning 2 titles, and then going after his career, going to Puerto Rico to coach. Now, I thought that was interesting because I never knew anything about that. I thought that was cool. And then later on, he comes back, starts coaching in college, back in the United States, and then the Bulls are looking for, I guess, another coach at the time, and they brought him over. Yep, another assistant, brought him over, and then eventually he'll take over for Doug Collins, which was a big controversy. And it starts to question because Doug Collins had taken that team to a Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
lost to the bad boy Detroit Pistons, and then a coaching change after that was, kind of a hit or miss move, really, when you when you look at it. But what did you think?
Well, to speak to Doug Collins, I always thought Doug Collins was a great coach. I always think he's a good coach. I think that I like listening to him as a commentator too, because you can tell that he's got just a wealth of knowledge. So that's my little tip of my hat to Doug Collins. Wherever you are, I think you have some skills, a lot of skills on the bench and in the commentary booth. For Phil Jackson, he had an interesting road. I think he had an interesting road on his way into the position of the head coach of the Bulls. I mean, he goes down to South America and he's Central America, and he's coaching out there in some crazy situations. I mean, that one part where they mentioned the mayor came out and shot one of the coaches or something like that in the leg. Yeah. I mean, that's a crazy way to cut your teeth, being on the head coaching position. But he comes back, and in a way, I mean, he was handpicked. He was groomed by Jerry Krause to take over for Doug Collins and get Doug Collins out of there and bring a new style of basketball. Him and Tex Winter's triangle offense, he's studying that, and they bring that in and they implement that. And, I mean, the Bulls don't win. They don't win without that offense, and they don't win without that mindset. One of my things that I feel when it comes to Phil Jackson is that he's a great manager of egos. And I think that's really important for this team. We touched upon in a previous video about him and Dennis Rodman, and how he was able to work with him and let him be himself, and then that benefits the team. What do you think? What do you think about Phil Jackson? Greatest coach of all time, greatest coach in NBA history. What do you think?
I mean, he's up there. I mean, there's so many great coaches now, like him, Greg Popovich, Jerry Sloan, what's his name? Who coached Detroit? Brown.
Oh yeah, Larry Brown. Yeah,
Larry Brown. There's been a lot of good coaches that have come into this league and have done what you said, managed egos, designed offenses, run, getting their teams, coaching their teams in big tough situations. So I mean, I say Phil Jackson's up there, or he's in the conversation of being the greatest. Yeah, that's for sure.
When it comes to managing those egos, man, I mean, he had. He's got Michael, Scotty, Rodman, plus some other guys on the bench. I mean, it's not like the rest of those guys didn't have egos too.
Right.
And then you're going to fast forward, not related to the documentary, but you got Kobe and Shaq later down the line. I mean, I just really think that cements him as, like I said, the greatest manager of egos that the NBA has ever seen. If you're not going to give him coach, then at least you got to at least give him that. So, But now for the meat, at least what I thought was the best part of the video was the whole beating up finally on the bad boys of Detroit. What did you think about that?
That was, it was crazy because, in the beginning, like the bad boy Pistons were just murdering
Jordan Rules,
knocking Jordan to the ground, bumping him in the air, just stuff that if you did in today's game, you'd be getting flagrant ones, flagrant twos, and ejected out of the game and getting fined on top of it. So it's crazy to see how much the league was different back in the 90s and the late 80s. But, and then watching them and, after losing to them twice in their conference finals, Jordan just said, all right, I'm getting everybody in the gym. Forget you guys having a summer. We're going to be lifting, getting stronger, getting big. And that's what it took for them to withstand that punishment and dish it back to the Pistons to overcome them.
Right. I mean, that's cool. I mean, that whole Rocky montage was playing in my mind while he was doing that. Getting stronger. You got to hit the weights and come back strong. Yeah. And I mean, that's exactly what the Bulls did. For me personally, when Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons walked off, I have mixed emotions about that. I have mixed emotions about it. I know that the Celtics did it to them first, and that was their way of passing the torch. Nobody said anything to Larry Bird about it, and that's true. I knew this before the documentary, that nobody had said anything to the Celtics about what they did when they walked off, but everybody got upset with the Pistons when they did it. For me personally, I think that you should come over and congratulate someone. I think it's just sportsmanship. It's respect, mutual respect. Like I said, it's mixed emotions. I can see what the Pistons were trying to do, but that doesn't make it something that I necessarily agree with. I think they should have came over and dapped up the Bulls and give them their due diligence. What do you think?
Well, it's hard to because I know, like you said, the Celtics did the same thing to them, but I think just the way they played, how they just constantly beat up on people, gave them that perspective that they didn't care. Like they didn't care if they're going to hit you. They didn't care to shake your hand, which is why they got that criticism. And I'm with you. They should have shook in their hands. Like, okay, yeah, it's the passing of the torch. They're the better team. They're gonna, they're the next top dog of the Eastern Conference. And for them to just, walk out with time left on the clock.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a sign of disrespect right there.
Yeah.
You've been thoroughly beaten. You've been swept, and you don't even have the common courtesy to just congratulate the victor.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, even to this day, I mean, we can see that Jordan still has animosity. Oh, yeah. And we see Isaiah Thomas trying to explain his way out of it. And like I said, I mean, I can see a little bit of both sides of the fence, but I do think, I was glad that, I don't know if he stuck around after, but John Sally was talking afterwards, after the documentary ended there on ESPN, and he just gave a little bit of insight, that Bill Laimbeer had said, let's go ahead and leave the way the Celtics did us. Yeah, so a lot of the guys left. But then John Sally went to Chuck Daly, their coach, who was a great coach in his own right, and he said, hey, put me back in, because he didn't want to take part in that. But even John Sally said what we're kind of saying was that he understood why the guys were doing it. He didn't want to be a part of it, but he understood why they were doing it, And so I think that's just an important thing. But those battles, man, to see how intense, they were, and just like you said, the game has just completely evolved to a point where, I mean, you see James Harden, Kevin Durant, if you put your little pinky finger on those guys, that's a foul. And we see the stuff that's going on. More so James Harden. He just throws his head back when he's driving the lane and they're blowing the whistle on it because they don't, the game has just changed so much. There's no more physicality. There's no more, banging in there. And, it's really interesting to me to see how much basketball has just developed over the years and come to this. I mean, it's still a beautiful game. I mean, to see, I mean, James Harden can score. He can just score, and to watch James Harden. So don't think that I'm bashing on him. To watch James Harden now, in 2020, I mean, the man can score the ball in so many different ways. But it's just different. It's just a different game when you're comparing it with the way that Michael was having to go out and get his points, or Isaiah Thomas was going and getting his points. Right. The way those guys are doing it, it's just a completely different, almost a different sport. Mm-hmm. It's almost like comparing a different sport. So what did you think? Anything else from that rivalry between the bad boy Pistons and the up-and-coming Bulls that really stuck out to you, or anything, because they're running these things at the same time, anything from that final season, or even the reactions from like Jordan and Isaiah Thomas now in 2020?
After they beat the Pistons, they go on and face the Los Angeles Lakers, and Michael Jordan and the Bulls win their first title, and you can finally see, like he's ever since he entered the league, he's faced scrutiny. Oh, am I as good as Magic? Am I as good as Larry Bird? you know,
that validation for him.
Right, the validation, you know, it really, you know, it brought him to tears, and like he was just happy that he finally won. You know, and as I was watching, I was thinking like, you know, as much as people criticize LeBron, it's almost similar. The way you're watching, you know, he was, you know, getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, you know, with Cleveland in those years, and you know, he just wasn't getting it. Couldn't elevate his team over the hump. And then he, you know, goes to Miami, forms a super team, and then he wins his first title. And it's just like, and now he has the validation now that he's a great player, one of the greatest to you know, play the game. And that's kind of what I took away from that. And then they flash forward to '98, where it looks like it's all about to fall apart, and it's just it kind of got like, you know, like, wow, like this is kind of sad now.
Yeah, you wish you could just hop in the time machine and go back and smack Krause and just be like, man, just let him run one more season, let him run 2 more seasons. Like, why are you doing this? Let him run 2 more seasons. Let's see what happens, you know. But I think that's an excellent point that you brought out, running the correlation between LeBron and Michael. And before anybody wants to jump on LeBron, we might have to do another video on this another time. But before you want to jump on LeBron, let's remember the guys that he was playing with before he teamed up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. You got guys like Ilgauskas and Donyell Marshall. I'm saying names that most people probably don't even know about, you know? So, and we're saying that Jordan ran, and we actually talked about this in the last video. When you're running alongside guys named Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, and your coach is Phil Jackson versus the coach being Paul Silas over there in Cleveland, you know, I mean, hey, you're going to have a different ending no matter how hard you work.
Right.
Like I said at the start of this video, Doug Collins was a great coach.
Yeah,
and they had
Michael
Scottie,
Jordan loved him.
And Michael Jordan loved him. And they had Scottie before Phil Jackson got there. They had Scottie, so the pieces are there. You know, pieces are there. You got a great coach. You got your 1 and 2 punch. You know, the pieces are there, but they couldn't get over that hump. You need all the pieces. And I'm glad the next video coming up is on Horace Grant, because Horace Grant did a lot of things for that first 3 championships. Horace Grant was an integral part of that team. So I'm glad that this next part's going to come out so that people can see and either learn about it for the first time or be reminded. Like I'm looking forward to being reminded of the type of stuff that he used to do for those first 3 championships with the Bulls. But anyways, little bro, I don't know, man. Why don't you go ahead and get us up out of here, little bro?
All right, y'all. Hey, thanks for joining us. We're looking forward for the, you know, next week's, you know, episodes 4 and 5, or 5 and 6, or is it 4 and 5?
We're at 5 and 6.
5 and 6, yeah. 5 and 6. You know, please like, subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. That's our first goal. Comment down below. Do not be caught lacking in the streets, y'all. Do not be caught lacking. We have some good content for y'all, but we need you guys to stop lacking. Hit the subscribe button now.
All right.
All right. See you guys later.